Welcome to the Alsa Stadium just outside Dublin Airport. I'm here at the National Transplant and Dialysis Games, and every athlete here today has either had a transplant or is on dialysis. So let's go and have a look at some of the action and meet some of the competitors.
The Games have been going now since 2004, and the idea is to bring together transplant recipients and people who are on dialysis in a kind of a sporting environment where they can celebrate the second chance of life that they've got. It's a way for them to show their gratitude to the donor. They're showing their donor that, and the donor's family more importantly, that I value what you have given me. I'm looking after myself, I'm healthy, and they're showing their family that, look at me, I can walk 3 kilometres, I can run 100 metres fast, I can play badminton very well. And for the families, it's fantastic to see, because the families have been there holding the hand of their loved one, kind of when they're sick in bed, when they've been in hospital, going through the transplant operation, or they're there with them during dialysis. So that's why we encourage a lot of family to come along, and we make it a big family occasion.
I was born with a congenital heart disease, and when I was 3 weeks old, I got 3 weeks to live. Then I had open surgery at the age of 12 years of age, bypass. I had a heart transplant in 1991, and since then I had my transplant. I never looked down.
And you're competing regularly in the Games?
I compete regularly in the Games. My first Games was 92 in Holland for the Europeans. Then I went to Australia in 97 for the World. Then I went to Hungary last year for the Europeans, and Italy last year for the heart and lung European Games.
I had my first kidney transplant in 1986. Had been on dialysis for 7 months, and that went very well for 8.5 years. And then that failed, and I went back on dialysis for 4.5 years. And I got my second transplant then in December, Christmas Day in 1999. And then I actually started taking part in the Games. My life has totally changed, because when I was on dialysis, I did it for an hour during the day and 10 hours at night, every day. So I was actually tied, at home all the time. And I wouldn't have been able to run or take part in any of the Games or anything at that stage, because I wasn't feeling well. But when I finished a big event, I just thanked my donors, my 2 donors, for giving up their organs and their family members, because without them I wouldn't be able to take part and I wouldn't be able to win medals. So I'll always be grateful to them for what they have done, given me a life. And I have been able to see my children growing up, and I've been able to see a lot of things I wouldn't see without my donors.
I had a liver transplant 14 years ago in January 93 in St Vincent's Hospital in Dublin, and I've had great health since then, thanks be to God.
And you're supremely fit. What sports do you take part in?
Well, I'm not that fit really, but I like to do running, and I used to play Gaelic football when I was younger, and I've just started up a little bit of race walking as well, but distance running is my main thing.
And when did you first become aware that your liver was failing?
When I was about 19 or 20 years of age, I developed a condition called chronic active hepatitis, and I had that for about 10 years. It got progressively worse, and when I was about 29 then I had a liver transplant, and it's turned my life around. I've had great health since then. Had he not been so generous when he was alive to make that decision to donate his organs, maybe I would not be alive today.
The brown piece here is the old kidney, and the flower and the forget-me-not is the significance of the new kidney grown again, and the bandage here is from the hospital joining us together, giving us a second chance.
And are you a transplant recipient, Harry?
No, I'm a dialysis patient. Well, a typical day, Tuesday, Thursday and Saturday would be wake up around 3:30 and prepare myself to go to Beaumont. A taxi would collect me between 4 o'clock and 4:15, and you go in then and you're put on the machine then for 4 hours. It takes about 20 minutes then to come off the machine, and I'd go back home. And most days after dialysis you'd have to have a sleep, because you'd be so tired and fatigued more so. Not ill as such, but just fatigue, and maybe your blood pressure might have dropped on the machine, and that takes a good while for it to come back around, even though you're on tablets or whatever you'd be, it still takes time. So sort of those 3 days, you can't really plan. You can't really say to someone, I'll definitely meet you at 2 o'clock or I'll definitely meet you at 1 o'clock. Whereas on the days you're not on dialysis, it's perfect. You do have a normal sort of a day.
But you had dialysis this morning.
I did.
And you're here today.
I am. Because I feel that my kidney disease is living with me, I'm not living with it. And so it has to do what I want to do. And I mean, if I stayed at home, there's nobody going to knock at the door and say, why didn't you go to the Games? And I mean, I'm sort of a bit young to be vegetating at home at the moment anyway, you know.
Like, we currently have, I think it's about 460 people on the transplant list for waiting for a transplant, and there's actually over 1,500 people on dialysis. So there's a huge need for organ transplantation in Ireland, right around the world. But it works. It's fabulous. The sports highlights this. It's a very positive way of showing that a transplant doesn't just prolong someone's life, it gives them a quality life. It gives a wife or husband, it gives kids back their father.